Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Cheryl. If you're new, welcome to the C Squad. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for joining me again. Today we're back with another Q&A. I asked you guys on Instagram and in my community tab to send me some questions about doing a master's degree in the UK, and we're going to be answering them in today's video. If you don't know, I did my bachelor's degree in computer science at the University of Sussex. I graduated in 2021, and after a few years off, I'm back in uni doing my master's in digital marketing and analytics at the University of Kent. I've really enjoyed my master's degree and I'm so excited to share my experience with you guys today. Thank you to everyone who sent in a question. I really appreciate it. If you want to participate in future Q&As, then follow me on Instagram at Cheryl_Moyo, and also hit the notification bell on YouTube so that you're notified for future community posts. Before we get into it, please subscribe to my channel for more lifestyle videos and vlogs. We're on the road to 20K and I'd really appreciate it. And without further ado, let's get straight into it. So first up, we had some questions about the application process. So I'm just gonna break it down in detail for you guys. So applying for postgraduate degrees in the UK is pretty different from applying for undergraduate degrees. With undergraduate degrees, you apply through a website called UCAS. Essentially, what you do is you write up your application. So this is including your personal details, your grades or predicted grades, your personal statement, and UCAS will send that off to the universities for you. So the pros of that is that you only make one application and that's sent off to all of your choices. The con of this though is that on UCAS you can only make an application for 5 different courses. So this could be the same course across 5 different universities, or if you really like a specific university, you could apply for 5 courses at that university. But the main gist of it is that you really have only 5 options. Postgraduate degrees, you apply to each university individually. So you do this by going on the university's website, going to the course that you want to apply for, and typically there'll be an apply button. The pros of this is you probably have a higher chance of getting into at least one postgraduate program because you can make an unlimited number of applications. I actually don't know if each university maxes you out at some point, like maybe you can only make X number of applications at a university, but you can essentially apply to as many universities as you want to. The cons of this though is that you have to make each application individually, which can get really time consuming. The application process for master's degrees differs across different universities, but typically you'll need the following things. Obviously your personal details like your name, nationality, address, all of that stuff. Your academic transcripts, so this will be your high school certificate. So for me, it was my National Senior Certificate from Matric, and also your university transcript. I also had to include my first year transcript from the University of the Witwatersrand, which is the university I attended before I transferred to University of Sussex. So I had to provide my first year transcript from WITS as well as my final degree transcript from Sussex. Then you also need academic references. So this will typically be 1 or 2 references depending on the university. So it's really important for you to make connections with the staff at your current university. I had my supervisor from my dissertation do my academic reference for me. Shout out to him. I've seen some universities that allow you to have a work reference if you haven't been in academia for a couple of years. Sometimes you can upload the reference yourself, but most of the time they're gonna ask you for the contact details of the referee so that they can then directly contact that referee for their reference. Then you also need a personal statement, the bane of my existence. The number of characters differs across universities. I've seen some as few as 2,000 characters and some as high as 8,000 characters. So it really just depends on where you're applying to. So some things that you need to include in your personal statement would be why you've chosen that specific course. This is just basically aspects of the course that you find the most appealing, like specific modules, or maybe the fact that the course has guest speakers that you can learn from, why you've chosen that specific university. This is a mistake I made with my applications because I was trying to work efficiently, but they really want you to make it personalized, so you have to talk about that specific university. My initial personal statement for Kent was a little bit bit more generic. I didn't really speak about the university specifically, and they actually emailed me asking me to just update my personal statement and include more elements about that and resend it to them. Definitely save your time and just do it the first time round. It is going to be more time consuming because you have to personalize it for each university, but at least you won't have to redo it like I did. Also talk about how you're gonna apply your current skills, knowledge, and experience to your course. This is a good time to talk about maybe your dissertation that you did during undergrad and how that's gonna help you with your master's degree. Also talk about successes or achievements that are relevant to this course. This could be your grades, any work experience you've had, conferences you may have attended. For me, I spoke about the master classes I attended with Google when I was part of the YouTube Black Voices class of 2022. We did a lot of master classes about branding, social media, algorithms, so obviously that was pretty aligned to marketing and was relevant and made sense for my application. Also talk about how this course fits into your career goals and ambitions and how that course is going to help you achieve those goals. So definitely mention those 5 things and I think you'll be good to go. Next up, we've got what are the entry requirements for a master's program in the UK. Entry requirements differ across each university and for each course, so it is always best to check the university website for each specific course you want to apply to. In UK terms, typically you need a minimum of a second-class honors degree. For your country's equivalent to that, it's always best to check the university website because a lot of them will have an international requirements page and they'll list out the requirements for each country. You can also always email the international department because they are more likely to know what the up-to-date specific requirements are for you. So definitely check the website and email them. Depending on your course, your undergraduate degree doesn't always have to be related to your postgrad degree. For example, with my course, Kent recommends applicants that have a background in marketing, business, or management, but they do accept applications from other disciplines and areas of study. Some courses like engineering might be a little bit more strict and you might need to have an undergraduate degree that is more aligned to that field of study, but it's always best to check the university website, as I said before. You also need to meet the English language entry requirements. I have a degree from a UK university, so I didn't have to do a language test, but typically you'll have to take the IELTS. That's what I think it is. I've never taken it before, so I wouldn't really know. Also, if you have a degree from an English majority speaking country like America or Canada, you're not gonna have to do the test. And also, if your language of instruction throughout school, so throughout primary school, high school, university has been English, you can contact the university just to check if you actually have to do the test. That's what I did when I transferred from my South African university to University of Sussex. Because the only language I speak is English, and because my language of instruction all throughout my academic career was in English, I didn't have to take the test. So it's also something you can double check with them. Then we had 2 questions that I'm gonna loop together. The first one was, do you have to do an honors first to do your master's? And they asked how long it takes. Then someone else also asked if it's possible for a South African undergrad to pursue a master's in the UK. So when I was in first year at FAVS, I contacted a couple of universities to ask them about this. And basically what I was told is that you needed to have an honors degree with a minimum of a 70% average. Granted, this was back in 2018. So there's a possibility that this may have changed since then. And also I only asked like specific universities, so it could be different for others. As I said before, I always recommend checking the website or emailing the International Inquiry Department because they will have the most up-to-date information for you guys. But yes, essentially, if you are a South African undergraduate student, you'll need to do your honors degree and then you'll be able to do a master's in the UK. Funny thing, I don't think a lot of people actually realize this, but I have my honors degree. Essentially in the UK, your 3-year bachelor's degree includes your honors. So I actually have a bachelor's degree in computer science with honors. So while in the UK, it only takes you 3 years to do your honors degree. I know in South Africa, your honors is separate, so it actually ends up taking 4 years. This is actually one of the reasons why I decided to transfer universities. Initially, my plan was gonna be to graduate from WITS with my bachelor's and then do my master's in the UK. But the minute I started emailing these universities and they told me I had to do my honors, I was like, dang, that's a long time. At that point, it would have been an extra 3 years and I just was impatient. I wanted to be here. So I was like, nah, let's not. Next question is, how long does a typical master's program in the UK take to complete? So it usually takes 1 year if you're a full-time student and 2 years if you're a part-time student. As far as I know, international students aren't really allowed to do their master's degree part-time, so it's going to be 1 year for you if you're international. Some postgraduate degrees offer optional placement years, which is a 1-year work experience. So in those cases, your master's degree will then take 2 years. But as far as the actual syllabus and you attending lectures and PC labs and seminars, that's really only going to be 1 year. It is really fast. Master's degrees in other European countries are actually around 2 years. If you guys watched my Poland vlog, then you know my aunt is doing her master's there and her master's degree took 2 years. I would say doing a 1-year master's degree definitely feels like you're kind of speed running a course. You're learning so many things at such a fast pace and it goes by so quickly because you don't even have that many weeks of teaching. I think it has its pros and cons. A pro would be that you only have to sacrifice 1 year of your life, so it's really not that bad. But a con would definitely be that you learn so much in such a short space of time, so it can be a little bit overwhelming. And that leads us into our next question. How demanding is the coursework compared to undergraduate studies? So as I said before, you're learning a lot in a short space of time, so it is a little bit more demanding than an undergraduate degree where you have like 3 years to learn a bunch of stuff. In my course, we had a lot of deliverables, especially in semester 2, we had 13 assignments due and they weren't really spread out. Towards the end of the second semester, we had 2 assignments due every week for like a month, so it was a lot. You guys also saw during my Greece and Poland vlogs that I was working during my holidays because I had stuff due and I couldn't afford to leave at last minute. So it can be a lot, but I do think it's manageable, especially if you stay organized. And also you can get extensions on some of your assignments, so it's not set in stone. I avoided taking extensions. Actually, I didn't take any extensions because I just knew that that was then gonna delay the progress of my other assignments. If I extend one, then the ones that are due after it are also going to suffer, so I may as well try and stick to the due date. So it is possible to do it with sticking to the due date. You just have to be organized. I have a video about how I stay productive and organized as a master's student, so I will link that down below for you guys to check out. But here are just a few of my tips. Go to class. This is such a simple one that I don't know why people avoid doing this step. There's a positive correlation between attending classes and having good grades. It's science, so just go. Also, it's not cheap to do a master's degree, so please don't waste your money or your parents' money or whatever endorsing body is sponsoring you to do this master's degree. Don't waste money. Just go to your classes. Also, don't procrastinate. Start early. I started with my assignments at least a month before the due date. I think there were 1 or 2 towards the end of semester 2 because it was getting hectic, where I started 3 weeks before and I heavily regretted it. So try your hardest to start early on assignments. You are gonna have to juggle assignments at the same time, depending on how your course is laid out. Also, make sure you have some type of assignment tracking system so that you don't forget about upcoming deadlines. You guys can check out my Notion tour and setup to see how I've set it up to manage my assignments, and also use your calendar, use reminders, all that stuff. So all in all, I don't think it's that bad. I think it's manageable. If I didn't have a YouTube channel, I think I probably would have had a lot more free time to just kind of like chill, socialize, go and do the typical like uni things. I just think I was pretty busy filming and editing videos, so I didn't have as much free time. So if you don't have a part-time job, you'll definitely be fine. If you do have a part-time job, I think you just need to be really smart about your schedule and make sure you don't overwhelm yourself with too many things to do. And then this is a question that I get asked all the time. Did you get a scholarship to study in the UK, or do your parents pay the tuition fees? So luckily for me, my parents do pay my tuition, which I really appreciate. I looked at scholarships on Kent's website when I was applying for my master's degree, but a lot of the application deadlines had passed, or I didn't qualify for certain scholarships, so that was kind of a bust. Dudu, who I did a collab with a couple of years ago, I believe has a video about getting scholarships in the UK, so definitely check out her channel and her video for that. And I'm sure there are a ton of other YouTubers who also do videos about how to get scholarships. To be honest, I've never applied for a scholarship, so I don't actually know what the process would be. So I think checking out those videos and those channels would be really helpful. What tools do you find useful for research and writing your thesis, and how do you use them? So luckily for me, Kent has a module called Research Methods and Consulting Skills, which is basically a module intended to help us write our dissertations. So I definitely got a lot of my information about writing a dissertation from that module. It's actually a module you get graded on at Kent, and we actually had to submit a literature review and our research proposal as assignments, which wasn't that fun, but it was still useful. Other than that, I've used a site called Scribr, which I showed in my dissertation day in my life vlog. It gives you a guide on how to structure your dissertation and what to include in each section, which is helpful. Under that video, someone commented that they use Grad Coach to help them with their dissertation. So I had a quick look at Grad Coach, and it looks like you do have to pay for it. So if you guys want some free options to help you through dissertation, there's an amazing YouTuber called Dr. Amina. I'll have her linked down below. She was actually part of the YouTube Black Voices class just like me, and I've met her a few times, and she's just the absolute sweetest. She has her PhD, and she's done a ton of videos about writing essays, literature reviews, and dissertations. And she also talks about AI tools that you can use to help you streamline that process. So that might be really useful for you guys to check out. Other than that, I find that looking at other academic journals that have a similar topic to yours is helpful, just to kind of gauge how you should structure your dissertation and what you should include in each section. Hopefully that helps. Did you apply to any other universities besides Kent? So I applied to 2 other universities. I applied to University of Greenwich for their master's in web design and content planning, because at the time I was kind of tossing up the idea of me doing web design. I'm glad I didn't go down that route. Then I also applied for the MSc marketing course at University of Brighton. I was actually in the process of applying to University of Surrey for their digital marketing course when I got my offer from Kent. Kent was actually my first choice. I really liked the program at Kent. Like, reading through the course overview, it just felt like it really fit me. I liked the fact that Kent wasn't too far from home. So yeah, Kent was definitely my first choice. So once I got my offer letter, I kind of stopped looking at other universities. Why didn't you do a master's in computer science? I feel like I've spoken about this before, but about halfway through of my undergrad in computer science, I realized that it wasn't really for me, and I just could not picture myself working in a computer science related field. So my dad and I made a deal that all I had to do was finish doing my undergrad degree, and that I could do my master's degree in whatever subject I wanted to study. Doing a master's in computer science was literally never going to happen. I just don't really gel with it enough to do it as a job, so doing a master's degree would not be useful. I know it's difficult for some people to understand, but I'm really happy with my choice. I think doing this master's degree in digital marketing and analytics was the perfect choice for me, because I get to consolidate a lot of my interests and passions. So I like the fact that I get to do the analytical stuff with data analysis, and then I also get to do creative stuff with marketing campaigns. And I do get to code here and there. Like, if I want to do a sentiment analysis of a company's reviews, then I can code and I can do that, but I don't have to do it, and my entire role isn't based on it. So I definitely prefer this degree to my first one. I finally got to experience studying something that I'm actually passionate about, and I think every student should have that experience at least once in their lives. And we're gonna end off with the last question. After getting your master's, would you pursue another degree? If you had asked me this like a month or 2 ago, I would have immediately said yes. I don't know what it is about doing a dissertation, but it kind of burns you out a little bit. It's like the same thing that happened in 3rd year for me. I need a pause. I need a break. It's just been a little bit too much referencing and reading of journal articles for me the last few weeks, but I think I am still open to doing a PhD. I definitely think that if the right opportunity came along, that I would be down to do it. Just not now. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Let me know if you guys have any other questions about doing a master's degree in the UK. I would love to chat with you guys in the comment section down below. Thank you again to every single person who sent in a question. I really appreciate it. You have no idea. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to join the C Squad, and hit that notification bell to be notified when I upload new videos. I will see you guys in my next one. Bye!